Hey everyone, welcome back. I hope you guys are doing good. Today we are diving into one of the most important and foundational services in the AWS ecosystem, Amazon EC2, standing for Elastic Compute Cloud. If you want to understand cloud computing, deploy applications, or build real-world infrastructure, EC2 is one of the most or first services you must master. So basically, what is EC2? So Amazon EC2 is the core AWS service that gives you virtual servers in the cloud. Instead of buying physical hardware, EC2 lets you quickly launch and manage servers with the exact CPU, memory, storage, and operating system you need. I like to think of EC2 as like a cloud-based computer. It's fully customizable to your workload, scalable up or down whenever you need. Pay only for what you use. That's what I like most. You pay for what you use, you know. So that gives you in terms of money and all that stuff. You don't have to pay for infrastructure that you are not using. And with EC2, you can host websites and applications, run backend services or APIs. You can actually deploy databases, run machine learning or data processing workloads. You can create test environments or full production infrastructure. And what actually makes EC2 powerful is its flexibility. You can choose the instance type, OS, security settings, storage, networking, and scale it all automatically using tools like auto scaling and load balancers. But we can now dive into that on today's video. But before we go into that, on the previous video, I actually forgot to tell you guys to actually, after maybe let's say we just created a demo, right? I just headed to my AWS management console right there. The thing you have to remember, guys, is after finishing with a service, or if you are no longer if you don't want to use services anymore, you actually have to get rid of it, get rid of stuff, guys, because remember AWS charges you for actually using services. For example, IAM doesn't charge you a lot, so users in here, you can actually leave them. But guys, remember, if you are not using something, get rid of it. Maybe let's say under users, you are not using a particular user, get rid of that user, guys. But in terms of IAM, the identity and access management, AWS doesn't charge you that much, or doesn't charge you anything actually. But that's like a good best practice to remember, guys. If you are not using something in your AWS account, get rid of it, because in terms of EC2, AWS charges you, even though you are using the free tier, AWS will continue to charge you if you don't terminate or get rid of services or infrastructure. Yeah, guys, I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. The main thing is to get rid of things that you are not using. In terms of this, I'm not gonna delete anything, but I'll show you on EC2 what I'm talking about. Maybe let's say you have created an instance, for example. After finishing with that instance, you must make sure that you delete it in order for AWS to not charge you, because AWS charges you based on demand. You are paying for what you are using. So if you leave that EC2 instance on, without terminating it or getting rid of it, that means you are still using it. That means that's your responsibility, and that means that you are going to pay for that particular EC2 instance. I hope you guys understand what I'm talking about. So let's move on and get into EC2. So Amazon EC2. EC2 is one of the most popular of AWS offering. As you guys know, we're gonna go with theory first, then after we're gonna do the demos, demonstrating how to create an instance and so forth. So EC2 is Elastic Compute Cloud, as you know by now. Infrastructure as a service. So this is like the infrastructure part of the services. It mainly consists in the capabilities of renting virtual machines, storing data on virtual drives, so EBS. So EBS is Elastic Block Store. So this is basically your drive, that's all it is. Then distributing load across machines is ELB. ELB stands for Elastic Load Balancing. So basically this load balances like traffic. Maybe let's say, for example, let me give a quick example. You have two instances, then you want to equally distribute like the traffic. Like 50% must go to the first instance and 50% must go to the second instance. That's the service you use to achieve that. So basically that's what it means, and we have things like scaling the services using an auto scaling group. That's what it stands for, the ASG. It's AWS it's auto scaling group, sorry. Then knowing EC2 is fundamental to understand how the cloud works. So that's basically it. Then we have EC2 sizing and config options. We have operating system. We're gonna see this on the console. We have Linux, Windows, or Mac OS. How much compute power and cost? CPU, you can actually configure that. How much random access memory? Random access memory, you can configure that also. How much storage space? Network attached EBS and EFS. So EBS is Elastic Block Store, and EFS is Elastic File System. So that one is a drive for like the block storage, then the other one is like for file storage. Then we have hardware, which is the EC2 instance, the network card, speed of the card. You can actually AWS can assign you a public IP address. You don't have to worry about all that. We have firewall rules. In this case, we have security group, and security group it's actually a big topic. So we're gonna actually discuss that. Then we have bootstrap script configure at first launch. We have something we call the EC2 user data. Okay, so EC2 user data. So EC2 user data, it's like, if I could describe it, it's like a script you want to run when the EC2 first boots up. So it says it is possible to bootstrap our instances using an EC2 user data script. Bootstrapping means launching commands when a machine starts. Is basically what I just said. That script is only run once at the instance first start. Then EC2 user data is used to automate boot tasks such as installing updates, installing software, downloading common files from the internet, anything you can think of. The EC2 user data scripts runs with the root user. So yeah, we're gonna see that in a minute. Before we go anywhere further into the other topics, I actually want to make a demo of how to create an EC2 instance, and yeah, let's just go to the AWS management console for that part. So I'm gonna go back to my dashboard of AWS services. And remember guys, if you want to access an service, you just come here and just type in the name. So we're gonna head to EC2. Remember, I give Fred full access to everything in my AWS account. So currently Fred can actually view anything. So we're gonna click on launch instance button. Then yeah, we are here, guys. So basically we're gonna use the free tier, and let's give our instance a name. I'm gonna give it my first instance. Let's just say my first instance as the name. Then for application and OS image, so this is where you choose your operating system. There's Amazon. For Linux we have macOS, Ubuntu, Windows, Red Hat, SUSE Linux, and Debian. For now we're gonna stick with Amazon Linux. Then Amazon machine image, this is like the AMI. So basically an Amazon machine image, this is like which image do you want to use for your instance. So for now we're gonna go with the free tier Linux 2023 kernel 6.1 AMI. So that's what we're gonna stick with, because we want to use something that is available in the free tier, you know. So description, you don't have to worry about that. Then instance type, so we basically have types in AWS. So the type is just which type of machine do you want. So we have the T2 micro, the T2 nano. So basically micro is the smallest. We have the nano, which is a more bigger. If you can look at that's there. So it says for this one it has gigabytes of memory, 1 gigabyte of memory. It has 1 vCPU, the virtual central processing unit, and family is the T2. As you can see, this is the micro, or before that we have the nano. This is the smallest actually, but it's not included in the free tier. You want to use something that is included in the free tier. And another point I want to mention is that the T2 micro in other regions is not available. So to make things easier or simpler is to use the default region, which is the US East one. So the T2 micro is available in that one. So as you can see, we have the T2 small, but this has 2 gigabytes of memory, which is bigger than this one. So that's basically the instance type. So there's the instance family and the instance generation, and we have things like, as you can see, we have medium, large, extra large, extra large. So those are the instance type. What type of instance do you need, according to your performance workload, things like that. You have to consider things like that when you are actually creating an EC2 instance. So we're gonna stick with T2 micro, which is included in the free tier. Then we have a thing called a key pair. So basically a key pair is used for SSH, secure shell, like into your particular EC2 instance. If you want to access your instance using your physical local machine, you can use a key pair. So we're gonna actually select the key pair, but I want to actually create a new key pair. So let's just say create a new key pair. Then the key pair name, we're gonna just say let's just go with something simple, instance, then user. Then we're gonna stick with RSA for key pair type. You don't have to worry about that. Then .pem for file format. Then we're just gonna click on create key pair. Then after that, it's actually gonna download the key pair. We have to save it somewhere, because we're gonna use it later on when we try to SSH into our instance. So in terms of network settings, we gonna so remember guys, a security group is just a firewall whereby there are rules. These are rules that determines which traffic do you want to enter our EC2 instance, and which data or traffic do you want our instance to like outbound, things like that. So we're gonna, let me see something. We're gonna create a new security group. Then traffic is from anywhere. We're gonna allow SSH, and we're gonna actually click on everything here. We want to allow HTTP traffic from the internet. We want to allow the secured HTTP traffic from the internet, and we want to allow SSH. Remember that we have to SSH later on in the next upcoming video, or this one, I don't know, we'll see. So that's what that means. In terms of storage, you don't have to worry about that right now, so you can actually skip that part. You're gonna go to advanced settings. So inside advanced settings, you don't have to worry about all this information. You can leave it as default. What we want to add in here is remember the user data. So I'm just gonna fetch a simple user data in my notepad, then I'm gonna actually paste it here. So it says, so basically this script it's just a bash script, a simple bash script, whereby I want on my first when the instance loads for the first time, I wanted to echo this message, which is hello world from host name, and the host name in this context is going to be the private IP address, so yeah, after that I'm just gonna check for the last time. I think everything now is done. I'm just gonna go ahead and just launch this instance. So it's gonna take just some few seconds, because that's how you can, these days it's easier to create an instance. Just takes like minutes or seconds. You see, now it says successfully initiated launch of instance. So I have successfully launched the instance. I can go to view all instance. So inside here you can see all your instances. At the moment I only have one. I can actually view information about this machine or this instance. So you can see details like the instance ID, that's very important. The public IPv4, so this is my public IPv4 address. Then I have the private IPv4 address here. I can see my public DNS. Then instance currently is on running state. Then in terms of IPv6, I don't have an IPv6 address for this. So basically, if I go and copy my public IPv4 and click a new tab, then paste it here, then click on enter. So what I need to do is I need to do it using HTTP. Then try to access the machine again. It says doesn't support a secure connection with HTTPS. Okay, HTTP. Let's just go back. Then here we want to say HTTP. So we're gonna do this. and we're gonna paste the IPv4. So after copying my IPv4 public IPv4 address, I'm just gonna click a new tab and try to access this machine. As you can see, it says hello world from IP, and this is my private IP address. As you can see, EC2 internal. So that's what that user data script does actually. Just echo this message on my EC2 instance. I would like to end this video right here. As you know, guys, I don't want this videos getting longer and longer. I want to make sure they are not longer than 20 minutes actually. So see you guys on the next one, where we'll be continuing discussing things about like security groups and yeah, all those things, guys. See you on the next one. Cheers.